Nev Schulman Max Joseph. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm John Foss with the CW Twin Cities. So we're talking catfish. I'm sure most of our viewers know all about catfish, but for those few that don't, what is catfish?
It's a television show that we've been making now since 2012.
Right, we've made over 100 episodes at this point.
That's right. Season 7 will mark the 100th episode of this show. We've been to Minneapolis.
Oh, and St. Paul.
That's
really?
Right. We've been traveling the country for the past 5 years, helping people who are in online relationships discover the truth about who they're actually talking to, and then go, oftentimes very far, to actually meet them in person and, well, in some cases...
And reconcile.
A few cases find true love, but more often than not, kind of come face to face with their reality and move on with their lives.
I watched the documentary that started it all. That was very well done, great job. And then I've also been watching the show throughout the years. And as the viewers know, Nev, you were kind of the first person to be catfished. Tell us about that experience.
Well, yeah, so I weirdly got involved in a online relationship back in 2007. And after about 9 months, some things that they had told me, was this woman I was talking to, but I was also talking to her mother and her little sister and all their friends. And a few of the things that they had told me sort of didn't seem to make sense, or I looked something up and I saw that they had lied. And so my brother and our friend Henry, we went to Michigan from New York to actually meet them in person and discover the very, very surprising reality of who they actually were versus who they said they were. And since then, people have been reaching out to me. We started making this show, and now here we are, 5 years later.
And at the end of that documentary, you did confront the woman. You guys seemed to leave on respectable terms. Have you guys kept in touch? What's the relationship there now?
I haven't spoken to anybody involved in the original documentary in a little while now. Usually I hear from her once a year or so with a sort of update of kinds. But, I think understandably she's happy to have let the whole catfish saga of her life sort of fade away as much as possible, and I'm happy to respect that. But I still have a very special place in my heart for her, and somewhere I hope maybe someday we'll get to see each other again.
So when you guys are out there on the road doing this, it seems like it could be kind of dangerous. So for both of you, have you guys had any instances where you've been physically assaulted or it seemed like that was going to happen? Do you guys feel like you are kind of risking your well-being by doing this show?
I don't think we've ever really felt in true danger. There have been times where things have gotten heated with people on the show, and we've had to step in and throw our hands up for a second. But
I think the biggest risks are two things. One is our emotional well-being. Now, I know that sounds silly, but I mean, we're sort of similar to emergency room doctors, right? We're going into these people's lives at a very traumatic moment, and we're doing our best to guide them through in the hopes that they can come out the other end a better, happier person. But it's difficult, and people are getting their hearts broken, and it's upsetting. So I think we absorb a lot of that, and we deal with it differently. But that is a sort of workplace hazard. But honestly, the thing that I think scares us the most is guns. We're in this country, and we're traveling around to places where a lot of people have guns. And I don't want to make this a political thing, but it's scary.
We knock on a lot of doors, and we've got cameras with us, so there's always a fear of, is this going to be the wrong door, and is someone going to be really unhappy to see us, and what could the ramifications of that be?
Right. Plus, unfortunately, in the current political climate we live in, a couple of elite Jewish guys in places where we may not be welcome, with the sort of brazen outpouring of bullying and negativity towards people like us, it's a little uncomfortable sometimes. So the scariest thing about making this show is that, who knows what kind of upset, angry, deranged person armed with a gun could do to us.
Do you guys have to arm yourselves to feel safe, or
no?
How do you?
We have
We've got arms.
We have security who travels with us
Okay.
in places where we feel less comfortable.
Gotcha.
But look, again, I don't want to say that that's a problem we've faced. Overwhelmingly, I find that everywhere we go, north, south, east, west, people are wonderful. They're warm, they're kind, they're excited to meet us, they're generous with their time, they're very hospitable. And I would say I've loved traveling this country, meeting people, making this show, and never really felt any kind of meaningful or significant danger. In fact, quite the opposite.
Why is catfishing such an epidemic? I mean, it seems like you said there's a couple of these shows where it ends and it's a great ending, but most of the time you kind of see it coming throughout the show that this person is going to be very disappointed. I mean, it seems like these people would know that maybe what's happening is too good to be true.
I think catfishing is more and more prevalent now than ever because more and more people are on the internet. Meeting people online has become more and more socially acceptable. And we've seen some studies recently that young people are 50% more likely to choose to engage in online relationships because they feel more comfortable being themselves on the internet. People prefer to communicate their feelings via text message now rather than in person because face-to-face has become a more awkward form of communication. So I think catfishing is on the rise. And I think the reason we're still making this show 100 episodes later is because it's not going away anytime soon.
And I've seen both of you guys on Casey Niestat's blog on a regular basis. First of all, the work that you guys do with him, you do yourselves, and just all the work that you guys do, I find as somebody who also does video production extremely annoying because the rate that you guys are putting out content and the quality, I mean, it's so well done. What is it about this new era of people coming up and just putting out the type of documentary content at a high quality that you guys are doing? What's behind that?
Well, I think that, it used to be that to make any kind of movie, you needed a lot of money and you needed a crew, which required a lot of cooperation and synchronizing a lot of schedules, coordinating. And now, with your phone, which everyone has, you can make something. And so the technology has really enabled a lot of people to make things quickly. You have a phone, you have a computer, you can edit something at night. A lot of times after shooting, I go to the hotel room and I'm working on a video, and that that daily routine kind of produces work. So it's very exciting to me to see what's going on with people. I mean, the original Catfish film was shot on small cameras, small kind of consumer cameras, not even prosumer cameras, and it became this feature film that came out in theaters, and that was pretty much the first time where I was like, oh my God, this is a real turning point in cinema. And I think that's just kind of gotten pushed further and further and further. And I think Casey, of all people, has really kind of pioneered and trailblazed that path of just using technology and everything that's new to churn out very personal, authentic content.
But don't worry, you're not alone. Casey makes all of us feel incredibly insufficient and just sort of
It's
lazy.
ridiculous what he's doing, but also what you guys are doing. And I know you guys got to run, so Nev, Max, thank you very much for being with us. You also have another project coming out called We Are Your Friends that we'll need to check out. But Catfish, the new season starts on January 3rd, so Twin Cities, make sure you check it out on MTV.